Here we go again. Eubank Jr. versus Ben 2. The wheels are in motion. Bear in mind, the bar for these two going at it is quite high. What did you think?
Oh, do you know what? There's a lot. There's a lot in that press conference. I mean, obviously, we've just spoken about Ricky Hatton. Um, and obviously, Eddie Hearn tried to do his Ricky Hatton bit, which is fair enough. Whether that was the right time and place to do
Well,
it, I,
it had already happened at the start of that event. I think
yeah,
they played a video for Ricky Hatton or something
yeah.
like that. So I am a little bit cynical about Eddie Hearn decided to
Well,
talk about it in the
I
middle of a
was a
press conference about a different fight.
yeah, I was a bit, and also, if I'm being honest, Conor Benn wearing the Man City shirt. It's like I don't know. Don't want to sound too harsh. That felt a bit like playing to the gallery. That is quite cynical, but that was my gut reaction. I think Chris Eubank certainly didn't win any fans by talking over Eddie Hearn at that bit. Now I think he'd obviously decided he was going to do his Eddie shtick
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
regardless. But Eddie Hearn did get a lot more in that press conference than he's ever done before, and I think Eddie Hearn probably won the press conference over Chris Eubank Jr. One because he finally got talking, and I don't know whether someone in Chris Eubanks Jr.'s ear if you shouldn't have talked over Eddie Hearn talking about Ricky Hatton, and whether he still was Chris Eubank Jr. but he didn't shut Eddie down as well
It's quite
in the upper
interesting.
parts of a press conference as he did in the first fight.
So, are you looking forward to the fight between Eubank and Eddie Hearn?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I am. Yeah, that's the battle, right? That's the battle.
But I mean, what I mean by that is, why is Eddie Hearn talking so much? Like,
Well, I think
he isn't fighting here.
no, no, he isn't.
If he was, he'd be using his fighting name of Eddie Hills, wouldn't he?
It's the way he earned one.
That's yeah. When he started boxing, they were worried about the Hearn name being attached
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So, if you
yeah,
ever hear him
yeah.
referred to as Eddie Hills, that was his
Yeah.
boxing name.
It's like Prince Harry being Harry Wales or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Have such a target
So,
on his
so you don't
back.
get beaten up, which is kind of odd when you stick him into a boxing ring.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Can't go swim without getting wet. Um, right. So Eddie, I'm probably going to go off on multiple tangents here.
That was a joke, by the way.
Eddie,
I don't want to talk about the fight yet.
no, I want to talk about the Eddie Hearn
Okay,
Chris
cool,
Eubank
cool.
thing. So cool, cool. That's what we're talking about. So Eddie Hearn, as I was saying, after the him trying to pay his tributes to Ricky Hatton, which is obviously you know more than entitled to do. Eubank Jr. talking over that, not a good look. But then once Eubank Jr. starts going in on the fact, making his accusations that basically his ambulance was blocked, which I'm just like, right, Eddie Hearn, love him, hate him, somewhere in between, whatever, doesn't have the power and has no jurisdiction to at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium over the gates and to block in. And he wouldn't do that because it'd be such a bad look. If you're Eddie Hearn, such a bad look to let Chris Eubank Jr. die from dehydration. If that's what we're saying was happening, you know. So I think that riled Eddie Hearn up enough that he started going at him, and I think he made Eubank Jr. look a little bit silly with some of his accusations, belittling the toenail falling off.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the fact you were in hospital for that long, that's enough. You don't need to use the toenail to make it sound worse. So I think
I agree. I think that Hearn maybe came off better than he has done before.
mm,
Well, no, let's not. No, that's the wrong phrase. So I think Hearn scored more points this time than he has done in the
yes,
past. But I don't think he came out of it very well either. So in fact, I actually think Eubank he's sort of running Eddie Hearn into the ground a little bit because he's he's just got such a problem with him. Like Eddie Hearn, he kind of during his time with Sky, everybody sort of loved him.
mm,
Um, and in this phase of the Eddie Hearn's career or whatever, he's quite tetchy. He's always having a go at at Ben Shalom. Like he's always sort of trying to sort of, I don't know, like old man Ben Shalom a little bit.
I,
And it's just, he's coming across really petty a lot of the time.
well, I thought on Ben Shalom, and I don't particularly like the boxer productions. I think maybe because I thought Matchroom was so good on Sky, and I felt it was hard for, Ben Shalom was never going to match
And
that.
I mean, come on, like he had AJ at the exact
Yeah, of
right
course,
time.
yeah. And Froch and Groves and boxing was hot.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously he did play a part in that. But the thing I felt bad for Ben Shalom this time was, you know, Connor Ben started telling him to shut up, and I was like, "Have you got no ideas for yourself, Connor?" Like, and I felt a bit sorry for Ben Shalom.
He's coming out, but I actually thought Nigel did a number on Connor quite badly as well. Like,
Yeah, that didn't.
was
I
it the
was
story
like,
about them having a shower together? Well, it wasn't supposed to be a shower, but he said
yeah,
shower.
yeah,
Um, and what was it? He called him a loser or something in the shower.
yeah, yeah.
And like Nigel, like panned it out as this really interesting story.
Oh God, it was like, yeah, it was a terrible anecdote, wasn't it?
It was just
You loser.
shit, just
It was,
shit.
it was really, and you're kind of okay, yeah. And then what happened? Oh no,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
But the thing also, again, who am I to call the Bens losers? But they they are they've lost at every level. They've lost, they lost the argument of the words. They've lost in the ring. They've lost the moral argument. Every step against the Eubanks now. Um, and they were sort of joking about, well, I've got to go and put it right now. And if you do put it right, well, you're still 2-1 down, aren't you?
Yeah,
Against
yeah,
against, against the Eubanks. So it was. It almost seemed like loser mentality, which sounds like I'm being a bit Andrew Tate. You sound like a loser, man. But yeah, I don't think they came out of it particularly well. Conor Ben,
Conor Benn needs a couple of insults as well because you're an idiot, Chris. It only goes so far.
do you know what? Do you know what I'd like Eubank Jr. to do now? In the way that he kind of just, the
Yeah.
Eddie,
Eddie.
just so infuriating. It's like, yeah, I've got kids. It's the kind of thing my son would do to my daughter to wind her up.
It reminds me of that Simpsons where they're chanting Daryl at a
Yeah,
baseball
yeah,
player and they're going, "Oh, it's water off a duck's back. He's
yeah,
used to
yeah.
this kind of stuff." And then it close up, there's just a tear
Yeah,
running down his cheek.
yeah. It was just such an infuriating way to silence Eddie Hearn. I think he felt, you had his wings clipped by it. But I feel like he's had long enough to get it going, and the accusations made him go. But with Conor Ben and his insults, and so well, I say insults and calling him an idiot. I think Eubank Jr. should go with something like, again, playground. Just go, I know you are. I said you are, but what am I? Just repeatedly, and that is everything he says to Ben between now and the first punch being thrown.
Well, I actually was wondering a similar thing because I don't think he needs to sell a fight. So I don't think Eubank needs. I don't think he's under any obligation to do much because it's going to sell.
No.
So I don't know. I could kind of get away with almost doing nothing at all and just sitting in silence and not even responding to anything if he wanted. He'd probably still get fined because even if he farts,
He'll
they seem to
find a
fine
way.
him. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, he has kind of accused Hearn even more explicitly than before of trying to kill him with the ambulance thing. So, and Eddie was trying Eddie was trying to get him out to say, so say it, go on, say it.
Yeah,
Both of them
yeah.
said it, and pretty. I think there's enough there to say, yeah, I think he said it. But that's nonsense. That's nonsense, and you just a bit like, I don't know. You didn't need to do it, and I don't think he had it all his own way as much as he did in the build up to the own fight in the first fight. Let's see what he's got lined up. If I was Conor Ben, I'd just say nothing because what good from it can come.
Well, I mean, I think that's what he is doing. He is saying not a lot, and that's why Eddie Hearn's talking so much. But I don't like to see a promoter doing the trash talking for their fighter because Frank Warren always does it for Daniel Dubois because Daniel Dubois is not mentally sort
Yeah,
of capable enough to sort of go up against somebody whose English is their second language
yeah.
and insult them back. Um, but I just like to leave him to it a little bit. I mean, Conor Benn's got nothing in the locker other than
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't, has he?
he's an idiot, and also he's in a worse situation having lost the first fight. And
Yeah,
what's interesting is Conor Benn sort of said, "I, I rocked you a couple of times in that fight," which is true. It did
yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah.
But I thought Conor Benn was about 10 seconds away from being knocked out at the end of that fight, and Eubank didn't draw on that.
No, I don't. Yeah, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. There's gonna be plenty of time for him to talk.
I
I'm
mean,
sure he will.
how long have we got till the fight now? It's
It's November, right? So a
yeah,
couple of months,
a
or a
couple of
month and a
months,
half, getting
month
towards the
and a
end of
half.
September, aren't we? Yeah.
I just don't know where the next press conference will go from here.
Mm. Um. Well, I guess it's going to be the Eddie Hearn and Eubank show, isn't it?
It will have to be. It will have to be.
Which, which, which I think,
Do you think Nigel will be allowed in the next one after that appalling anecdote or
I,
not?
I think it's going to be a bit like. I was going
They'll
to say,
sit him there with his microphone, but it won't be
yeah.
plugged in, I reckon.
It'll just be a bit like, and I know you're a big Alan Partridge fan as well, but I think stories like that are best kept in the caravan, Nigel. It's just, yeah, yeah. I think
You could
Eddie.
see where Connor gets his brains from when
Well,
with
I
that.
thought that as well, especially when he was just like his completely honest appraisal, where he was just like, "I was really disappointed. I thought he was terrible, Connor." You think he fought out of his skin. Like if he, yeah, and again, we're not really, well, we're not pro Connor at all, but you got to say he gave it a go, and he was. It's not like he is a skilled boxer and is known for his thinking. He has that way of going, and it's blood and guts, and that was his only card to play. You can't tell me
Well,
his
that's one of
game
the
plan was to box.
well, that's I mean that's one of the things. I mean, Tony Sims and I think Nigel Benn have both come out and said, well, he didn't follow the game plan at all. So
Right. Well,
we know that in the next fight he's got a much better chance. But I'm like, hang on, you had this massive fight in front of all these people that you spent so long training for, and your fighter just decided not to do anything, like you said, at all, and then got beat quite not quite easily, but he wasn't close to winning it, let's say. So I don't think that is a great thing to say. Oh, don't worry about it. He just didn't do anything we said last time, but this time he will. It's a
this
bit
time it'll
like
be
it's like Brad Pitt in Snatch, where they keep telling him to go down in the fourth or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah,
and he keeps
yeah,
knocking him out. Like,
yeah. But also, obviously Nigel Benn and Sims they'll know better than me. They're in the gym with him, right? And they knew what the game plan was. But of course, that was what Conor Benn was going to do, and that's what he
yeah,
said
yeah,
he's going to do. I'm going to come in and try and take your head off. I'm going to be right
yeah,
there in front of you. Never, but that's all Conor Benn's ever done. And this
yeah,
time it was
yeah,
with a personal grudge and family rivalry and legacy and everything. I'm like, of course that's what he's going to do. And of course that's what he's going to do next time. The only person who might fight differently is Eubank Jr. because he's got Bomac in his corner now. So maybe
yeah, yeah,
and and that's interesting because he was in the corner for the Liam Smith rematch. And is he? And I'm not to say, not to say that really means that much, but is he going to come out and do what he did to Liam Smith in the second? That would be interesting. And I hope he does because, well, one, I just don't want it to be a stink fest, and I worry it will be. I worry if it goes, it can't go the way of the first fight. You don't get two fights like that, I don't think.
quite, yeah.
I
It's quite rare to get to slugfests or
exactly, and I think that's all Ben can do.
because it only takes one fighter to go. I'm not doing that this time.
Exactly, and they're making out, from King of Anecdotes, Nigel Benn saying about, well, that he's going to fight an intelligent fight. He won't. He'll fight exactly the same. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. If anything, he hates him a little bit more, right? So the emotion and the anger and that is Conor Benn, and that's what, as a fighter, pre-drugs, I liked him for, So I
It
can't see that
may
changing. I
it doesn't
can
it,
see Eubank Jr. switching it up and learning a bit more because I think he's the smarter fighter and certainly the smarter man, and he can change the way he fights the fight.
so that is interesting because I think that might mean that Eubank's tactics up until the fight will be to wind Conor Benn up as much as possible to make him
Yeah,
fight the exact same fight that he fought
of
last
course he
time.
will. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's got him on a string.
So it's in his interest to sort of rile him up and
Yeah,
really
yeah,
piss him off
yeah.
because he wants him to be the hothead again. I mean, I think did Nigel not also mention the Paynard fight where Conor Benn got decked twice early in his career in that press?
Did
I
he?
think
I
he did.
missed that, did he?
He's either done it there or he
What point
did.
was he trying to make there? I think he was bad last time.
No, he was saying it reminded him of that fight. Um,
That's no.
I was just like, are you on Eubank's side, Nige? Because
Yeah, 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 yeah.
have you
Voices.
been paid double agent Nigel Benn?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, so I mean, the only thing I will think is that Eubank's legs don't look great to me. Like he was sort of tottering around the ring a little bit, like on very stiff legs for quite a bit of
Yeah.
that fight. I think everything else seems all right, but his feet don't seem that great anymore. So I don't know whether that will have an
Yeah,
impact this
maybe. Maybe. The other thing is talking about the 160 again and saying how Eubank Jr.'s for Ben the Ben Camp saying like, oh, it's not a thing, it's not a thing. He's fought 5 fights here. But again, the rehydration clause. So it is a massive thing. It's a massive thing. And it will be again, and it is the leveler. And without that, the fight does there's a reason Ben wants it in there and it won't happen without it. So that's still yeah, that's still there, isn't it? And kind of takes away in the run up to it, I'll be a bit like, I was sort of, I don't want to say a bit sniffy. I probably was a bit sniffy about it before the first fight, and the fight was great. And I hope it is again. But I want Junior to just get it done this time, and then it is done.
Yeah, I did read something that said that you might just ignore the rehydration
Well, I would.
clause because I
Yeah,
think that isn't he doesn't have to adhere to it. It's there's a financial connection to that, I think. So he
yeah,
can't. I don't know if this is completely true, but I think he can just not adhere to the rehydration clause and just hydrate to whatever he wants, and there's a certain amount of money gets taken off.
yeah.
And he might just do that this time.
I do. Yeah, I hope he does. I hope he does. To be fair, um, because you do worry. Oh, I do worry, but this will go wrong at some point. Like,
Yeah.
he was in, he won the fight and he was in hospital for ages afterwards because he wasn't well, by all accounts, in a bad way. So, yeah,
Yeah, it
part of
didn't.
me almost, I don't want this to be, well, the worst to happen. And it could, these things could happen. So, and then everyone looks bad. Everyone looks, who's involved looks bad. So,
I thought Ben Shalom dropped his best line that I've ever heard him say in any press conference when he said, "Connor, what are you famous for?"
oh, fantastic. Yeah, no, again, I like that.
But he
I
got
really,
shut down by
yeah,
Eddie Hearn, who said, "It's not the time." And I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, don't be a prick!"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Oh, it would be if it was the other way around, though. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it was a good line because it is true. What is Conor Ben famous for? Because he's not
Oh,
famous
yeah.
for, well, I guess he's famous for being a boxer, but he's not famous for boxing.
No, no, exactly. Do you know what? I thought it was a great line by Ben Shalom as well. And so I think Ben Shalom's come out of this quite well because I sort of get, yeah, I just felt like it was a cheap shot from Conor Ben to go at him. Um, because, you know,
It's just unnecessary. It's just completely
it
unnecessary.
just, it feels, and I sort of do feel sorry for Ben Shalom because often it just feels like bullying,
Yeah, that's what I see when I see Eddie Hearn and
Well, I
Ben
do. I mean,
Shalom. It's just,
Connor Ben was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, shut up, you!" Like, as in, like out of nowhere, and then for him to, yeah. So, what are you famous for? I thought, yeah, great, because that hasn't been spoken about in this build-up, but it'll always be the case. And do you know what? So I'm going to jump about a bit here because obviously he's got Bomac in his corner, who's Terence Crawford, and I saw an interview with Eubank Jr. maybe on Friday with Talksport, and he was saying about if he wins this, well, he was being asked what next, and they were talking about, Terence Crawford and Canelo. Uh, so, which we've spoken about. We want to see if Canelo fight. If he fights Canelo, because he was very respectful about them both, and a Canelo's a fight he's wanted for years, as we all know. But I wonder if he'll go in on Canelo on the drug cheap. side as much as he has done with Conor Benn, or whether he'll be. I'd just be interested to see that.
Don't think so because
He clearly respects him, but then that seems hypocritical to me if he doesn't, given how
yeah,
much
but I
he's got
suppose if
in.
it's not directly in the fight against him, which obviously Conor Benn was, he's not having a go at Conor Benn for being a drug street for a different fight. It's because he screwed up the first fight
Yeah, fair point. Fair
between
point.
the two
Yeah.
of them. And there's a bit, obviously, there's a bit of time passed since Canelo. I'm going to put it this carefully. Since Canelo was last caught cheating.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Since he was last proven as a cheater. Um, and senior. So in the interview as well, he said I saw he said that senior is going to be there.
Yeah,
That he
you
doesn't
would
want
assume
it.
so.
Well, you'd hope so, but I was worried that he would go again the same route. That he doesn't want it. But he said he doesn't want him to fight. But he's saying he doesn't just not want me to fight this fight. He
Yeah, you
just
don't want him to fight at all. Yeah.
he just wants him to stop fighting, which I quite like that they're reconciled. I like that.
I
It's
mean,
nice.
of all the people to sort of make the recommendation to not fight, I think Chris Eubank is about one of the best placed he could possibly be. As batshit crazy as he is,
Oh my God, yeah, yeah.
he's seen more than enough tragedy
Oh
to
yeah, 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 yeah,
call
yeah.
time on someone's career.
He's more than qualified. The other thing he's more than qualified for, and it's great that he's in there, is if Eddie Hearn starts one-upping his son in the press conferences, you know, he can wheel out his dad, and he's not going to be well, he will be telling shit anecdotes, but very
Yeah.
funny ones in a very flowery way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But if he wants to, if he needs another mouth or mind on side, yeah, I dare say, having been so I felt sorry for him, you know, I think he could take Ben Shalom's seat at the next presser quite easily.
So did it give you any sort of renewed interest in the fight?
Yeah, yeah, it did, to
Yeah.
be honest. Yeah, it did.
Is that in part because there's nothing else going on?
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. But the whole this fight is the whole package, isn't it? It's the narrative that's so good. I mean, you've got the last fight's not an irrelevance at all. It's obviously very relevant, but in the same breath, you've still got the two sons, you've got the dads, you've got Eddie Hearn, you've yeah, it's a kind of it's going to be a great build up.
I
And you
watched
think
the highlights of the first fight the other
I
day.
haven't watched it back yet. I haven't watched it back.
Um, Conor Benn's swinging and missing is absolutely wild.
Yeah,
He's just hook after hook after hook, just missing.
yeah, 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 yeah. But as that's him, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
That
is
is
him.
him. Yeah, and but again, I like to watch it. It's he
Yeah.
leaves nothing out there, and Eubank Jr. won't either. So it's yeah, I trying to decide what I want to happen. You either want
I genuinely think the best thing to happen is for Eubank to win in a similar manner to what he won the last fight. So n no, not debatable at all.
yeah.
And just finally end it because if Conor Benn wins, are we going to be in for a third?
Oh,
Like,
we will. Oh, we'll have to be, won't we? We'll have to be.
but it's like I feel like Conor Benn has got some business to get to, and that is to get back in the welterweight division. And let's see how good he is, because we still don't know how good he is. I know,
Yeah.
you can possibly take something from the Eubank fight and say, okay, he did 12 rounds with Eubank, caught him a couple of times, but was ultimately outclassed. But that doesn't tell me how good of a welterweight he is.
No, and he will never. So what does he want from this? Because I guess he wanted going into the first fight pre-drugs. He was probably the people's favorite.
I
Almost
mean,
certainly.
yeah,
Almost
but
certainly was.
there's so many fights at welterweight you could take that are interesting, good. He won't be the bad guy,
Well,
you know.
exactly, exactly. And I feel like he's trying to win that back over, like this momentum he had that he completely lost.
Do you think he'll ever become a proper boxer? So do you think he will ever just fight normal fights? Or, I mean, if you look at the welterweight division, well, Pacquiao's ranked at the moment. So, do you see him taking this more, oh, I want to fight Manny Pacquiao? You know,
Well, if he did, I wouldn't see that as proper. as being a proper boxer.
Or
You know what I mean? Like,
but like just taking the fights where there's money. So like, oh, I'll fight Ryan Garcia. So not necessarily
yeah,
the best fighters in the division, but this is where the money is, so I'm going to go and do
I
that.
hope not. I want him to, to fight the best in the division, not chase. I want him to, he's secured the money now.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
he's secured that. Go after.
But how easy is it after? I don't know what he got paid for the first fight, but how easy is it to go from whatever he got? I mean, I couldn't even begin to imagine what he got for the first fight. But
Well, he got 500,000 on his, on a fine for
I don't
Eubank
understand how the
committed weight
fine.
alone.
I don't understand how the fine goes in his pocket though. I don't get that.
That's
Um, but
that's not.
let's say he got five, let's say he got 5 million, which may be completely wrong, right?
Yeah,
How do you go from getting 5 million for a fight to let's say going and fighting Barry or someone
yeah. That's what
and
I'm just
getting,
thinking.
a tenth of that?
Well, yeah, but hopefully, and again, this is it. Looking at it and saying, well, Barrios.
I'm not convinced he ever goes on to be a proper boxer, Conor Benn. I'm not convinced by it. I think this hanging around at
Do you
this
know what?
weight,
So I'm just looking at it because I'm just thinking, what else is there? Because
well,
Catterall
there's
was
Lewis
in there,
Crocker. There's Lewis Crocker, which is
Crocker. Well, Crocker sort of called him, hasn't he?
yeah, he has, and
Which I'd love to see.
I
Do you
think
know what?
that's
That would
that.
be interesting.
I suspect that is Crocker recognizing his own limits and thinking, I want to cash in
Oh
as much
yeah,
as I
it is. It
possibly
is.
can.
Yeah, 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 exactly. But like Esserman, like fights like that,
Yeah, yeah.
which no Esserman's a domestic level fight. But again,
He's never going to fight Esserman. It just won't
Catterall's
happen.
in the division.
I could only see him going for Ryan Garcia, Devin
But
Haney, um, Manny Pacquiao, possibly.
yeah, but
I don't think he's going to go, all right, I want Boots Ennis. I just don't think it'll
yeah, yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like if they're the fights we want to see, though, right?
He has got, I want him to get, he's like a train to me that's off tracks. It's like get
Yeah,
him
yeah.
back on the tracks because this isn't anything. Like it's entertaining, but we're never going to learn anything about this guy.
No, exactly. But you want him to see him in with. Well, I'd want to see him in with someone like an Esserman or or a Barrios or Crocker. Crocker would be great. Crocker would
Yeah.
be great because it would be we get a world title. So he's bringing the world title to the table, and Ben's obviously bringing the Conor Ben story to the table, and a whole load of money and interest.
Well,
Crocker's
they,
got
well,
his profile's grown.
they need to sign that quick then, because I suspect Crocker will not hold his title for very long.